All right, guys, we are getting very close to releasing the Apple Vision Pro, and there's only been a few times in life that I remember an event quite like this from Apple. One being when the iPhone came out, then when the iPad came along. I remember this is just a big iPhone. What would be the point of a device? Unless you just have a lot of money to throw around. But how many years later, and now it can basically replace your laptop if you wanted to. And so there's no doubt that this is what can happen to the Apple Vision Pro. Maybe the day it comes out, it's not going to be much of anything or nothing new, nothing that we think we need. But as the years go on, it becomes a device that maybe we feel we can't live without. Now I admit that kind of feels sad, like that we're just walking around with goggles on our face all day, or hopefully just sitting at home. But that this device is something that would be necessary in life is weird, but it's also exciting. And I like that we're kind of having a restart here with a kind of a fresh new category of products from Apple, something new to play with and see where developers take it. And consumers, people like you and me that are going to be using this. Is it more for productivity or creative or just being entertained? There's so many different avenues that this can take us, and I'm excited to see where it goes. And thinking about all the different Apple products, this one I just cannot pin down. Again, I don't know, is this going to be kind of a flop? Is this going to take off? Is it going to take a lot of years to accelerate, or is it going to be an instant hit out of the gates? I have more questions than crystal balls, and I just don't know which way this is going. Now, the price is $34.99, so obviously that's a huge barrier to entry for most people. This is a nice to have, and it's a premium product. So a lot of people aren't going to have this, at least for a while, or maybe when there's a non-pro version. So this is going to be maybe a slow but steady ride until we get a few more years down the road and we have a lot more in the app space, the streaming space, and maybe multiple devices on the market from Apple. Now, we had a lot of things that kind of happened today being January 16th, Tuesday. Now, again, if you don't know, orders are happening on the 19th, so those are the pre-orders, and then on February 2nd is when the device hits the store shelves or gets delivered to your home if you order it online. So for today, the FCC approved the device, and then so it wouldn't be going for sale without that approval, at least from everything I know in the FCC land, which is not a lot, and I don't want it to be that much. The Vision App Store was released. It's out in the wild. It's live. I don't know if you can get to it, and probably only a select few that have devices that are doing some last minute checks and balances are able to get to it. But I also know there was another press event today, so members of the media got to test it out and actually use that app store, get third-party apps, and put the reviews online. So there is definitely movement happening in this regard. Now let's break down a few of these topics a little bit more. So for the App Store, it's gonna house apps specifically made for the Vision Pro, as you would expect, which is a good thing. It appears you're gonna be able to get a mix of apps to use on your device. So you'll have the special ones that are just for things that are spatial and 3D and all the things that are going to be invented in cool ways, they're going to be available. But then apps that have been developed for your iPhone or iPad, those are going to be available as well. So those are probably going to be in a 2D space. I've heard developers don't even have to do anything with their current apps to make them work on the Vision Pro, but it's more probably like a mirroring thing, or just viewing it as another display instead of your iPhone or iPad. But this is really cool because there's so many apps on the iPad and iPhone today. That means your library and options is going to be significantly bigger because a lot of developers haven't had that time to make special apps just for the Vision Pro alone. Now, Apple's also listing streaming and sports partners. So for example, Disney Plus, ESPN, MLB, Max, Discovery Plus, Amazon Prime, Video, Paramount Plus, Peacock, and more. They're all going to be available on the device. 3D and 2D video. They said that they're going to have over 150 titles that are in 3D, and over time, as other movies come out, they're hoping to have 3D versions, if not available right at the same moment as the 2D, shortly after, so they can be used on the Apple Vision Pro. And if it wasn't clear already, you'll still be able to stream through your browsers as well. So just video on screen, being able to use Safari and the general web to watch video that way. So for myself personally, I'm conflicted. I'm going to be honest on whether I'm getting this or not. $3,500 is a lot of money. I love tech gear. I usually don't mind being an early adopter if that means I get to play with something a little bit earlier. But that's steep, and I cannot justify this as well as computers or other things in the past. So this one's interesting, and when some of us YouTubers say, hey, in the comments, let me know what you think. This is an example where I truly want to know what you think. Are you getting it? What do you think of the idea? What about for myself? Again, I'm on the fence. I'm 50-50. Should I buy this? Should I not? Having a YouTube channel and kind of covering the tech, Apple space, there are ways I can justify this. I think it'd be fun to make videos out of this. I think there's a lot of new content ideas that come to my channel, using it for entertainment, productivity, new use cases, apps that are coming out. But do people want to watch that? You yourself may not think that you're going to buy this device, at least its first iteration. That's going to be in limited stock and it, again, be pricey. But whether you buy it or not, you want to see other people online using it, going through the paces, kind of taking that financial hit to bring this info to the masses. If so, let me know in the comments, because that's just another vote of confidence I'm going to have, to plunk down that cash, Friday morning. So let me know if you're looking forward to that type of content. As far as other thoughts, I wish I knew more. Their videos on the device from Apple have been far and few between. The latest press release barely went into any more new information. Their website has been limited. The press hasn't had a whole lot to say, just from basic, wearing it and saying how the strap feels and, their experience with the apps. So I'm curious as the rest of you, I'm thinking to myself, is this more productivity? Is this more entertainment? Is this actual computing? I know the lines I've heard from Tim Cook and others on Apple that, this is, kind of a new way of doing computing, but I don't know. I would look forward if, it has this multi-app support where I can see, multiple things at once, which I know it can do. Will it be like having 5 screens kind of on my head everywhere I look? And it feels like some of that will be there. So that's cool. But if this is just kind of a glorified way of watching Disney and other movies when I don't have a lot of time to do that stuff in the first place, I don't know if I want to spend that much on a multimedia device. So if this can actually help get my work done faster and easier, now we're on to something. If I can play some games, have some fun with the kids, okay, now there's some unique, cool experiences I can be having there as well. But where is this device going to sit? How much of a blend is it going to be between entertainment, fun, productivity, making stuff for this channel? This has yet to be seen. It's probably some blend of all of it, but we really have to get the device, get our hands on it, get the apps to see what this could entail. And isn't this kind of sad that we're finding ways to justify it, especially with that cost? There's not necessarily a reason I need to have it, but this is also the way things evolve. This is what makes it fun, technology that is, and how things move forward. So some of us do have to be guinea pigs. We have to try new things. We don't exactly know where the finish line is, but to make progress, we have to develop the technology, start using it, see how it can be used in our everyday lives, and then we just keep building from there. And there's gonna be fun, there's gonna be productivity. It may replace one of your devices that you've used traditionally, but we don't get to that end state and beyond to the next big thing without at least trying it and seeing what this could do for us right now. Getting down to some of the facts and stats on the device, I've done some browsing online. It looks like we're gonna come with 16 gigs of RAM and 256 gigabytes of space. Now this one, I don't know for sure if there's gonna be tiers above this or not. So when they talk about the price, they say it's starting at $34.99. Now, is that counting the Zeiss optical inserts you can get if you have vision issues and you wear glasses and you have to get the certain inserts to use within the device? Is it saying the starting price is because you may have to buy those? Or is it saying there's another tier where you could get a terabyte version or beyond? I don't know, and they're not giving us all that detail, but they're using some of their typical language that they use with like their iPads and their computers when they say the starting price, which is that base model, and then you can keep bumping up the specs from there. So we don't know yet. And I don't even know how to gauge the size. Okay, so let's take 256 gigs. A lot of you that have been using computers for decades and phones almost just as long, you get an idea of what 256 does for you. On a computer, I know I can't order one below that because I would easily blow through it. A phone, manageable, but also I'm probably bumping up the specs. But over time, you know what 256 gets you as far as your apps, your media with videos and photos and other things you may be doing on that device. I don't know how to build the base for this device. Is 256 good? Is it bad? You also start thinking about with your iPhone and your Mac, this Vision Pro is going to have the ability to utilize your other devices for mirroring, but is it also going to use apps that are already on these other devices? Do I need to load them a second time on the Vision Pro set? I'm sure most of the time, but I don't know all these answers yet. For photos, is it going to stream off your iCloud? Or is it something that you're going to have loaded up as a library on your device, or at least have the option to toggle on or off, kind of like you can with your iPhone? These are a lot of questions that we still have to get more details on. And then we can start learning, is 256 gigabytes good amount of storage or not? As far as what's in the box, when you get it on day one, you're going to have the Zeiss optical inserts if you've ordered those because you wear glasses. You're going to have the solo knit band and also the dual loop band. So from what I've been hearing, I think most people are liking the dual loop, which, not only is that strap around the back, but one that's on the top. So what a lot of people in the press were saying is that the device, you feel it and it's kind of wearing you down on your face. So getting that loop on the top is going to take the pressure off the front of your face, lessen the fatigue, so you're able to wear this for longer periods of time. I'm sure I'll try the solo band, once just to see what it's like. But because it's something that's so front heavy, I'm going to probably opt for that dual band if I get the device. You're also going to get the light seal and the cushion, so what's kind of resting against your face. I've heard there's like 25 different versions, based on the size of your melon. So when people are ordering them, I think you're gonna have to use your phone and scan your face, and it's gonna come up with the measurements of what fitting you're gonna need, which I think is really cool. I was a little afraid that you're only gonna be able to do that by going to the store and getting fitted, which would have been a hassle. And imagine the lines if this thing were to be very popular at a launch event. So at least they have a way around that. They're also gonna have a cover for the front of the device, which is cool, protect the front, right? But it doesn't sound like we're getting a case with it. So when you carry it around, are kind of the head straps just dangling all around? How do you protect the interior? I'm not quite sure on that, or if we're gonna have to wait for a third-party option, to case it better. The Apple AirPods Max, the big old headphones, they kind of messed up the case there. So I'm hoping if they do have a case, they've learned their lesson, because that design was not working, as it kind of looked like a little purse that you're carrying everywhere. But we're just gonna have to see, what this comes with. But again, if it's only a front cover, probably don't expect much. They're also gonna be shipping the unit with their polishing cloth, which, for those that you're kind of in the know, is funny, because they sell it separately for $20, which is absolutely crazy. But apparently it's a really good cloth, and people like it for the Apple Studio displays and whatnot. So it comes free in the box, which, hey, we should get that, right? It's $3,500. Let's add to the value, right? So you'll get that. You'll get the battery. Now, as far as the battery, what I'm hearing is it's 2 hours of general use, or 2.5 hours for video playback. So depending on what you're doing, you're gonna have different times there, but that's not all that atypical from, different devices. Now, it's kind of sad, if you have a long video, you may be on your couch plugged in using this device, because you won't finish one flick without it dying, depending on what you're watching. So it's a little sad. It's a little sad also that the battery is not integrated in the unit, and that it has a cord that goes to a separate battery that you're probably put next to you on your desk or in your pocket. But as far as I can tell, there's no way around that. If people are already complaining about the weight and the breathability of other devices that are in the market, and you put that giant battery in there as well, or even if you strapped it to the back of your head for a little balance, that's a lot of weight that you're putting on your head. So I get why they had to do it. The technology will get to a point where we're not relying on batteries that are dangling, off of a wire. But that's the current state. And if that's what we have to do, that's what we have to do. But the good news is, if you are seated stationary, at your desk on the couch, and you have an outlet nearby, you can plug it in, so you don't have to worry about that battery life, which is a plus. So just keep that in mind. You're also going to get the USB-C charging cable and the USB-C power adapter to make all that happen. So that's it. Again, this is an interesting one. We are going into new territory on the Apple front. I'm excited to see where this device goes. I want to see future iterations of this. I want to see the prices come down. I want non-pro versions. You know, I'd like to see anybody and everybody be able to experience this device and all the cool and wonderful things that it's going to bring. But we're at day one here. This is a fresh new start for Apple. Anything could happen. We don't know what to expect. They could blow us out of the water. This could flop. I think a lot of it's going to come down to the apps and what's possible. I'm sure the device is great. The sensors, the cameras, the screens. I'm sure Apple did a fine job at engineering all of that, just like they've done with a lot of gear that they've released over the years. It's got the M2 chip, which has been very promising in the laptops and Mac Studios, and you know, I know they're on M3 now. But even having an M1 in my Mac Studio, this thing's a beast. So the hardware is there. It's just now what are we gonna do with everything else that runs on the hardware? And how's it gonna enhance our lives, make us more productive, have more fun, be creative, entertain ourselves and our family. So again, we're gonna kind of all learn this together. Again, leave a note in the comments if you're looking forward to this type of content or any certain things or aspects about the product. If so, maybe I'll try to get in line for this thing and order it. So look forward to hearing what you guys think. I hope you found this informational. Let's see what happens. See you in the next one.